What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing all my favorite vintage and antique shops right here in Westchester County and the general area. If you're new here, my name's Simone and I've been a content creator mostly on Instagram for over 8 years, and I have recently gone full-time in the past year. I like to share items that fall under the scope of attainable luxury, and what that means to me is no matter what your budget is or how much money you want to spend, really choosing items that make your lifestyle feel luxe. And one of the ways I do that is by vintage shopping and thrifting. And like I said in the beginning, I'll be sharing my favorite places to find vintage items. And that doesn't mean that you can't stop at the antique store. So while vintage and thrifting tend to lean towards the fashion world, and you think like maybe you have to go to a store that specifically sells clothing or women's accessories, like don't count the antique stores out, because a lot of times there you'll find the best hidden gems in those spaces. So without further ado, let me shut up and let's talk about my first favorite spot. The first part of our journey is going to bring us to Tarrytown, New York. If you are from New York City, Tarrytown is really easily accessible via the Metro North, and there are tons of antique and vintage stores right in this little river town. First up is Trilogy Consignment. This is a consignment store, but don't let that deter you. People have the idea that consignment stores tend to be more expensive because it's a store selling someone else's clothing, but there are really amazing finds here. They get tons of designer finds and their prices are actually really great. There's also a little designer room in the back for like really high-end stuff. I found those to be a bit high, but if you're in the market for something specific like an event or a really amazing gown that's truly vintage, this is a great stop. Next is Pretty Funny Vintage. I think my favorite part about this space is they have a vintage pearl wall. It's so beautiful, and there are so many different like sizes of pearls and styles and lengths to choose from. They have tons of antique and vintage jewelry, along with a lot of really amazing home finds and also clothing downstairs. The Cherry Door thrift store is really a picker's dream. So there are tons of home products. There's also a small area of clothing, but there are dollar items that you'd find at like Goodwill, like vases and dishes and different things if you're looking to craft thrifted items and don't necessarily want to go to Goodwill or the Salvation Army. Personally, I like going there, but I always try to leave those smaller priced items to people who actually need them and try to really dig out those more expensive designer vintage items. So if you're not into doing that and you try to be a little bit conscious like myself, the Cherry Door thrift store is amazing. And also I think all of the items are donated. Don't quote me on that. I know a number of them are. And then the money that they make there goes to the Phelps Memorial Hospital, and everyone that works there is also volunteering their time to be there. So it's a great little spot and really fun to check out. Finally, you can't stop in Tarrytown, New York without stopping by the Swan's house. They are a local icon. They find the most amazing retro vintage furniture that you would ever want in your life. I always get, I've gotten a number of different things there, from small antique vases to, they have those really great little boxes of chocolates. They just have everything for everyone. And they also have like really great gifts mixed in. If you're looking for a seashell pillow, they have them. Really great quality, amazing colors. So you can't not stop at the Swan's house while you're in Tarrytown. Slightly more south is the town of Hastings on Hudson. And again, this is another great stop if you're coming up from the city or even if you're local to Westchester. They are both very close together, and I love Suburban Renewal there. This is another store kind of mixed with everything except for clothing. I never have seen clothing there, but there are really amazing home items, from old crystal decanters and alcohol holders for your bar. I saw a number of those there pretty recently. And they also have great little bags. I saw this acrylic bag and it was so hard to not get, but I mean, how many vintage bags can you have? Because I'm like collecting a lot at this point. But if you go there and you get that bag, you have to tag me because it might still be there. A little bit further north in Westchester County, you'll find one of the most amazing consignment stores, Penny Pincher's Boutique in Bedford Hills. There is everything from vintage Chanel, Hermes. I mean, this is a designer dream. The prices do reflect that of a consignment store, so you're not gonna get a Birkin on a deal, but if you are looking for more specific designer items, they have an amazing selection of high-end brands, along with tons of clothing and a really neat little home shop in the back part of the store. Another one of my favorite places to go, which is off the beaten path, is Mongers Market in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So this is going to be a little bit further than Westchester County, but if you are local to Westchester County or the tri-state area, I highly recommend checking out Mongers. It's a, oh my gosh, I think it's 17,000 square foot warehouse. It's huge. There are tons of different vendors located in there. Retweet Vintage is one of my favorite for clothing and bags. She just has the most amazing items. She recently expanded her space. She used to have one small area, and now she's like across this whole other area. So there is so much stuff to choose from. They're only open on Sunday, so you'd want to make a day of it. Don't try to go there any other day, but you will be there for a couple hours and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So have a list of things that you're looking for and just try to look for those, because if not, you might find something might catch your eye, which is amazing, but you also might feel a little overwhelmed. So that's Mongers Market in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And as we head even a bit more north, I love Aged Vintage in Cold Spring. There is the best curated collection of vintage and 90s clothing at Aged Vintage, and there are so many sizes, which I think is great. We love a size-inclusive store, plus there are tons of great bags and jewelry here as well. That wraps up our Westchester County antiques, thrifts, vintage finds. If you are new to thrifting, you definitely want to beware. There is a smell sometimes. Some old things definitely smell a little bit dusty. I love using the laundress laundry spray when I get things like handbags and just other smaller items that you can't just throw in the wash. So I like to steam them and then use that and just a little sanitizing spray. Also, take your time, be open-minded. Sometimes I think when I first went, I would be like, oh my gosh, someone wore this. This is old. Like, where did this come from? Don't think about that. Like, just put it out of your mind and just really look for and remember that shopping secondhand is great for the environment. It gets more wear out of items that are still good. So you really are supporting a more sustainable wardrobe and lifestyle when you shop for things like this. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. Thumbs up is a like, right? I'm bad at YouTube. Give me a follow, drop a comment, and let me know what I can share next.